What's going on, everybody? Got a finds video. This is more reckless digs from the last couple of weeks. Kind of a short video probably tonight. 10 or 11 to go through. Kick it off with Long John Silver from '72, Jefferson Airplane's last album. This is the stash box cover. You can stash all your 70s ditchweed in. That's the instructions to turn this into your little stash box. Original inner sleeve on the Grunt label. Really nice copy for $2, and not too bad of an album. This next one, Canned Heat, Boogie with Canned Heat. Classic album, pretty common. If you don't have any Canned Heat, this is a good place to start. An interesting thing about this particular copy, however, is it appears to have at one time belonged to fellow VC member Stephen Carlson. I'm actually kind of surprised Steve would write his name all over the cover like that. I did find a rolling paper in here. Steve likes to portray himself as the Mr. Rogers of the VC, as it were, but I don't know. I think Steve was partying a little bit back in the 70s, but in any case, it's an honor and a privilege to own a copy of Boogie with Canned Heat that was once owned by the great Steve Carlson. This next one, Cartoon from '69, Scottish band, kind of a one-off. Jimmy Page makes a guest appearance. Although you wouldn't know it, nothing he does on here sounds like anything he did in Zeppelin. But this is a cool, psychedelic, folky, little one-off. Kind of doesn't know what it wants to be. But there's a song on this album called I'll Stay. Kind of sounds like Village Green era Kinks. Very cool album. I did not expect much of this album. This is like another $2 find. But yeah, if you can pick this up for less than $10, I highly recommend that. It's good. This was a really cool find. Budgie Squawk from 1972. Proto-metal, hard rock gem. Love these guys. The more and more I hear these guys, the more I want to just buy up their catalog. Their albums are hard to find, especially for cheap. I think I paid $15 for this, which is actually pretty cheap for a Budgie album. This is a UK press on MCA. Yeah, love this album. This next one, Green River, CCR. Pretty decent copy for $6. These are usually pretty expensive on Fantasy, but Fogerty was just cranking these out in '69. Bayou Country and Willie and the Poor Boys also came out this year, and this has Lodi on it, which is maybe my favorite Creedence song. Yeah, great record. Another classic, Idlewild South by the Almonds. Pretty cheap copy. I think I paid $5 for this on Atco. Don't really need to talk much about that one, but that was definitely a hole in my almonds. This next one, Association, and then along comes the Association. Debut album from '66. Hits on here: Enter the Young. Along Comes Mary and Cherish. But this is good stuff. Very cheap. You can buy up these Association albums pretty cheap. I think I paid $1 for this. Pretty cool Valiant label. And this was one of my dad's favorite bands from the mid-60s. This next one, Rick Danko solo album from '77. Rick Danko, of course, from the band. On that Arista label, and pretty cool inner sleeve with that. First side of this album was a little disappointing, and thought it was kind of a dud, but the second side kind of redeems it. Also paid only about $2 for this, so yeah, definitely worth $2. If you like the band, I can recommend checking that one out. This next one, Boomer's Story by Ry Cooder. I think this is from '72. This is really excellent on that Reprise label. Yeah, pretty much any Ry Cooder solo albums from the from this era, '70s, is they're just pretty much great. This one's got a bad scuff that pops pretty much throughout the second side, or at least like a third of the second side, which sucks, but I can always upgrade that. But yeah, it's a pretty decent copy otherwise. This next one, Milestones by SRC from '69. This is a cool progadelic little album. I really like this. I want to pick up their self-titled one from, I think, '68. But this is great. All the way through, front to back. This is a really good album. I can highly recommend this. Very cool stuff. And one more, Pride, self-titled from 1970. This was a David Axelrod project that he put out with his son from 1970. Very eclectic little album. Kind of folky psychedelia with some Spanish guitar kind of sprinkled throughout. The drums are way out front in the mix on this album, which doesn't sound like it'd work on a folky psych album, but it does. It's this really, really cool album. Randy from Dead Wax 66 showed this, and this was a reissue. It was a used reissue, but this was only 11 or 12 bucks. So thanks to Randy. This is a really good album. Been enjoying this. Spun this 3 or 4 times since I picked it up. So that's it. That's all I need. That's all I got to show tonight. Again, I'm gonna have a pretty sizable stack to show next week from the record show from last week. Been listening to everything and got everything cleaned up, so should have a video ready next week. So other than that, everybody have a good weekend, and until next time.